Good evening, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Armoury. Welcome to Full Time Sports Network. Welcome to the match preview for the Arsenal Brentford, which is happening 3 o'clock tomorrow. How are you, Brenny?
I'm good. Very, very good.
You're good, are you?
Just day off today, so I've just been relaxing, chilling.
That's awesome. How are you feeling about tomorrow's game?
It's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. I just feel that Brentford will try and it's not about just catching us on a break, but I think they will they'll come to win. They're not going to park the bus. No way.
No, it's not Thomas Frank style, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. And he sets them up very well. He can set them up with a typical 4-3-3, or he may even play a 3-5-2 tomorrow. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I've got someone that works at Brentford that actually has chosen the team for tomorrow, and yeah, so we'll talk about that at the end as well. So we quickly want to get into the comments quickly. Big up to Luke, evening, Bobby, Brenny, and chat, and also Moss is in the house. Bobby and Brenny, 74. You're never going to forget the 74 bit, were you? Good evening, all. Evening, Tony. I will be playing your video very shortly. I have actually just uploaded it. So Tony's tried something different today, and I quite like the idea. So we might do it a bit more in the future to give him his thoughts, so we can hear his thoughts, and talk about his team. Obviously, it is Arsenal Brentford tomorrow, 3 o'clock. So
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate. Can you hear me?
Bobby, can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Have I gone dead?
Can you hear me, Bobby?
Yeah, I can.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me. I can't hear you.
Really? Oh, no. Can everyone hear me in the chat? Let me know if you can't hear me in the chat. Let's see if you can hear me in the chat. Hopefully you can. I can definitely hear Brenny. Let's see if we can get him back in a minute. Let's see. Right. So it's just me at the moment. Here we go. Brenny's back. Hopefully Brenny can hear me again. Can you hear me now, Brenny?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate.
Yeah, how's this tech? It's been letting me down at the moment. Even my laptop's been letting me down as well. So, yeah. But no. I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, I'll just go through some comments and then we're going to talk about the Brentford tomorrow. Hello, Tony and Luke, setting up some hockey tonight and Raptors again. Yeah, is there a challenge? Of course, there's a challenge. There's always a challenge.
Always.
It's fun. Goal Rush wonder if they will choose Arsenal Brentford as the featured match. Good point. Obviously, Moss has this Goal Rush in Canada that you can watch. Could hear you both. Yeah. Brilliant stuff. And we're not techies, but we try. Yeah, it gets to a certain point of age where we're just not techies at all. I'm not. I need a lot of help with mine. We'll quickly talk about this. This is I've put last 8 home fixtures because that's the only amount of times we've played Brentford in all of our history. So when it would go back to the 17th of December, that is 1902. That's the Woolwich Arsenal. So we've only ever played them 8 times at home, and we have won 4 times. Yeah, is that right? And we've drawn 3 and lost 1 back in 1938. But before 2018, we hadn't played them for 70 years? It's crazy to think that, isn't it, really?
It is.
I was really shocked when I was doing that.
Because the 3-1 from... was it 26th September 2018? That was a League Cup game.
Yeah. I literally had to put all. I don't like doing cup games, but I've had to put something because there was literally nothing.
No, of course.
And I was so shocked that we haven't played them that much. Brentford, but it just shows how brilliant Brentford have done in recent years. Is that 90? Yeah, it's 1902. 1902. That was the Woolwich Arsenal, not not what we are known as now, the Woolwich
Yeah.
Arsenal, but still Arsenal. What I'm going to do now is going to play the video. Now, I obviously ask everyone to send me their teams, but Tony's decided to do it a little bit different today. Then I'll talk about our teams that I've typed up and done everything. So this will be the video from Tony.
Cheers, guys. I hope you're doing well. So I thought I'd just come on and, I've seen a lot of people have picked this team. I'm going to go for the reason why I've gone for it. I think some people are probably on the same wavelength, but this is from my perspective. As you can see there, I've made 2 changes. First one at right back with Tomiyasu in for Ben White. For me, Ben White's been a bit off the pace lately. Not saying he's been overly terrible, but when Tomiyasu's been on, he's been brilliant. And the other thing as well is you got Brentford are on a run at the moment. They haven't lost since October, I think. They'll be looking at how Everton beat us last week from the set piece, and Brentford could do that. With Ivan Toney in the middle. You need someone to deal with him, and I think Tomiyasu could be that guy. So that's another reason why I've got Tomiyasu in. So when it comes to set pieces, he's there to defend, your Tonys and whatnot. So that's why I've got him in. The other position would be left wing. I've gone for Trossard and Martinelli. We've seen flashes of Trossard this season. Not afraid to take players on. Not saying Martinelli's been poor, but he hasn't been the same since Jesus has been injured. So I think maybe, give him a little bit of a push by starting Trossard. He could probably come in and change the game. I can't see any reason why he wouldn't. But that's just for me. I would start Trossard. I think he'd probably give us a little bit extra there at that position in a game like like a team like Brentford. So that's what I'm going with. And look, the most important thing here is we get those 3 points. And let's hope we get it done. I'm just going to throw my prediction in quickly. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Arsenal. I think we will shut out Brentford, but I think 2-0. It's going to be tightly contested, but I think we'll win 2-0. So I'll hand you back over to Bobby and the boys. I've been the Silver One, and I'll catch you guys very, very soon. Thank you very much.
So we tried to do something a bit different with Tony today. Tony wanted to do that, and I sent him his team, and so I actually quite liked it. I actually quite liked him giving his perspective, giving his opinion on what he's doing.
That was good.
Yeah, and I've already put his prediction down, so I won't ask Tony about his prediction. I think you went for the same team as Tony, didn't you, Brenny?
I did indeed.
Yeah, so we got Tommy in for Ben White and Trossard in for Martinelli. I don't disagree with you. We've actually got 8 different teams tonight to talk about. And to be honest, I don't disagree with any of them. Even Canners, I know Canners came up with a totally different idea. But someone else, bigger, different idea. Might be the talking point. I still kind of agree with it. Well, after listening to him and explaining it to me, I kind of get it. That's yours. Is it the same reasons as Tony why you went for Tommy and Trossard?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I mean, Tommy, I don't think he would start against Manchester City, but who knows? Tomorrow could be, if he does start tomorrow, I reckon we get a very good performance from him. Because at the end of the day, fighting for places, and he'll want to be one of the names on the team sheet for Wednesday.
Yeah.
Regardless whether he plays tomorrow or not. And for Trossard, we already know what he can do.
Yeah.
He's shown glimpses of his Brighton form, already against United, and I thought he did well against City, especially in that first half in the FA Cup. So it's like for like, and that side, even if White was to keep his place and Martinelli, I still feel we've got more than enough to beat Brentford tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to quickly say that is Moss. You were just slightly too late for me to put your name on the list. I'd already drawn up the slides. So yes, that was your team, Moss. I did see your name saying it is the same as King's. Lots of us picking this one. Will Arteta actually go Tommy and Trosto? This is the whole point of this conversation. What our opinions are, what we think, but we're going to be perfectly fine if he does go with White and Martinelli. That it shows the depth that me and Brenny have been talking about for so long. We've actually got depth now. we can change someone for someone and it's still good enough quality. So me and Brady have been saying this since I've started on this channel, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
we've now got it. So big up to Nicholas, Mehmet and Gumza. Now Gumza, I know I put him on the previous slide, but Gumza didn't think I'd get loads of different lineups. So he did this one for me. However, there was 8. So the only change there was Tommy was in, but Martinelli stays in. So again, it's not even worth talking about. I'll talk about the ones that are quite different. There is a few that are quite different. Obviously, we're happy with that one. Canners. Now, this is the first of the interesting ones. Obviously, he's dropped Eddie and put Trossard up front. Now, for me, I have zero issue with that because I think Trossard can play centre forward. Brenny, what do you think?
Yeah, he has done for Brighton. I don't know how many games, but he has done for Brighton before. I don't know whether or not, as a out and out centre forward or in the false 9.
Yeah. See, the thing what I like about it, and I do get where Cannons is coming from. If they do play 3 at the back, Trossard is that type of player that can just find a gap somewhere.
Yeah.
Where Eddie is a front man, bit of a goal poacher. He can be literally marked out that game for the whole game. But Trossard will find something different. Like if Jesus was playing, I'd have zero fear about them defenders marking him out the game because Jesus will find space. I think that's where Eddie is slightly lacking. He's much better at goal scoring for me than Jesus, but I think he struggles with the what would you call it? The football know-how, like what to do when you're just being marked out the game. Right, I've got to do this instead then because they're just literally marking me out the game here. Jesus will literally just get the ball himself and to go bang at it. And I think Trossard is very similar to Jesus in that style. I don't know if you agree with that one.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. And I'm sure I've said already, a few times. I'm not sure sometimes, but with regards to Eddie, if this was 20 years ago, we played 4-4-2 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So if he was around, in our time, so and he'd be near our age, it'd be a case of he'd be playing up front with either Armoury, who could create something as well as score goals, or say Dennis Bergkamp, for example, even Kanu.
Yeah.
So and he would have scored a hatful of goals in that era, playing 4-4-2. But if we were playing 4-4-2 now, I think he'd be even more successful as well, because of Gabriel Jesus would be his strike partner, and Gabby would be doing a lot of the running like he normally does. But you got your front man there, So it's horses for courses, as they say.
Yeah, because for me, if I was to do exactly what you've said, but bring Ian Wright into this squad, Ian Wright would struggle.
That's right. Yeah,
there's no doubt about it. Kevin Campbell probably do all right. Alan Smith will do all right. But I think Ian Wright would struggle.
I totally agree, Bobby. I mean, you just mentioned Campbell and Alan Smith, and they're stronger players in terms of holding up the ball as well, bringing others into play. So no, you're right there.
Moss saying hard to find a Brentford fan. To be fair, I did reach out to some Brentford podcasters and didn't get a response. I have got one for Sunday for the City game next week, which is a big one. But I did manage to speak to some hierarchy at Brentford, so I've managed to get some Brentford insight.
I know a few Brentford fans. We've got a lot of Brentford fans around here.
See, I was thinking surely some of you guys might know one, but obviously time scales and stuff. It's so tricky to try to do some shows.
That's the thing. I mean, I know one in particular. Even if I was to get him on it now, for example, we'd probably be in a pub right now. So he wouldn't even know what he's talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Right, so this one is what Josh, Bobby Brown, Jack, Tim, and Steve all went for, and I think it is the strongest lineup as far as I can see. Yeah, Martinelli and White. So it's literally what we talked about at the beginning, just taking out Martinelli for Trossard and taking out White for Tommy. So it's literally the strongest. And I think they start getting a little bit crazy in a minute. James went for... Oh, he called in Tommy, KT, Trossard. Are you happy with that? With Tierney coming back as well?
That's still a side that's good enough to win tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Decent left back again. So, yeah, I think... Does this one go a little bit crazier? No. All he's done there is Trossard is on the right, Saka's on the left. But again, that still kind of works for me. And now it definitely does. Luke hasn't gone crazy. I do get where he's coming from. So he's gone for Tommy, Tierney. He's dropped Xhaka, brought in Zinchenko because he does think that would surprise Brentford if we brought in Zinchenko. And he still can play very well there. Now, what do you think of that idea of not dropping Xhaka because he's been bad, because he hasn't, but just giving him something different to think about with Zinchenko in the midfield?
Yeah, I think that's a really good 11. Yeah, that 11 as well would still win tomorrow, as far as I'm concerned. And it just gives Xhaka a rest as well, really. Played a lot of games, even though he'll probably want to play every game. But I mean, Zinchenko in that midfield. I mean, well, we see him in midfield most of the time anyway. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, exactly. It's the way that we play. He's in midfield more than he should be for me, anyways. As a right back, I would hate being in the centre midfield. I just couldn't do this formation at all.
It'd be frustrating.
Yeah, Moss saying that Steve the Aussie Gooner also went for Luke's lineup. Awesome stuff. Now, this is where it gets different, and I do mean different. So, Carlos, big up to Carlos. He does think differently, and I do like it. You know how much I love letting people just let them go wild with their thoughts. So, he's resting our players because we got City on Wednesday, and I do get it, and I still think this is strong enough. So, he's brought in Tierney, Kivior, Holding, because he thinks that Kivior is not as strong. So he's putting the strength in with Holding, because obviously we've got to go with Tony. Tommy, Jorginho, Fabio Vieira, Zinchenko, Trossard, Saka, and Eddie Nketiah. What do you think of that one?
I think you know what, for a side like Brentford, I mean, you know, you just cannot take them lightly.
Yeah.
And Brentford look at that and think, well, they've got a really good chance of getting 3 points. I still think we're capable of winning tomorrow with that lineup, but I think the game it'll be a tighter game. I mean, looking at that could be 1-1 or 2-1. But also you've got to look at the fact that Kiwior and Holding, they've not played together. So there's that to take into consideration and see how that, if that was to happen tomorrow, we'll see how that partnership develops over 90 minutes. Tierney and Tomiyasu, we already know what they can do, and they're both quality. Jorginho, he just have to try and pull the strings, because he can play that deep playmaker role. Zinchenko, for me, he'd do a job in midfield. Fabio Vieira, he's one of those players. I mean, Brentford as well, physical side. Would he be able to cope with that?
Yeah.
But the front three, that front three could deal with anybody.
Yeah. That's the only the bit that concerns me, because obviously Marquinhos has gone out. How often is Saka going to get a rest now? Because I think Trossard is like the player to. I suppose certain games we may be like resting Saka, bringing Trossard in, and have Martinelli on the left. But I just think Trossard is so much better down the left than he is down the right. I know can play both feet, but I'm just slightly worried that we might burn out Saka again. I hope we don't.
Yeah, it is a concern, and I mean, Reece Nelson, he's still out, isn't he?
Yeah, Yeah, I think they're progressing well, but I don't think we'll see him for a few weeks yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got what ESR as well. At some point, he'll figure in which is now the business end of the season. So yeah, but I think with Martinelli, when you look at, if Trossard was to come into it, wouldn't surprise me, because like I said, with Martinelli, I think Mikel would have looked at last season already, and he would have said, "Well, I don't want to burn out Saka and Martinelli like I did last season."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's you see with Marquinhos, I didn't even want him to go out on loan because I thought in the UEFA, look at me, old school Europa League.
Yeah.
I thought he'd made a good impression in the Europa League, and I thought, well, if Saka was to get injured, he can come in and do a job.
Yeah.
Because I thought, well, because for me, Fabio Vieira, I think, has done well this season, and then you got Marquinhos as well, and I hope he does work Norwich. I mean, we all want him to do work Norwich, but I didn't want him to go out on loan personally.
Yeah, I'm slightly concerned it hasn't played yet for Norwich. I'm hoping I see him this weekend.
Oh, he hasn't?
No, not yet. So that concerns me a little bit. I need to see him play. That's the whole point of him. Us sending him out on loan for me is that he's actually going to play. Norwich are struggling. Well, they're not struggling as in the bottom of the league, but they are struggling to get where they want to be, which is the top. Just want to quickly go back to some comments before I show what they think might be the Brentford team to face us tomorrow. Too many changes there, Carlos. Carlos just likes to think outside the box. He's very much like me, so I big up to Carlos for doing it. He does spend the time doing it for me, bless him. Would be great to see Kivior. I am looking forward to seeing Kivior, I have to be honest. I think he's right to play Cini, especially as he's put Jorginho. I really don't like the idea of Jorginho and Saka. Yeah, I've got a feeling that ain't going to work. Jorginho and Saka in the same team, personally. Tross can go either side. Yeah, he can, but I just think he's better on the left. There's always a better side for one player, even if they can play all three positions. Agree, Luke didn't like Xhaka and Georgie together at all. Cini can boss in midfield nicely, been wanting him and Katie together for once when Xhaka needs a rest. Very true. Yeah, it is the Brommy derby. I know Bobby Brown's there tonight. It's Birmingham versus West Brom. Bristol surely gets in there. Hopefully, this is what I need. I need to see our players that have gone out on loan actually playing. That's the whole point of it. If not, what's the point? It's a wasted. They might as well just be with us if they're not going to play at the club that they've gone to. So this is big up to Monique, who has chosen her what she believes will be the starting 11 tomorrow. So she's gone for basically a 5-3-2. Obviously, two wing backs: Hickey, Agier, Mir, Pinnock, Henry. De Silva, Norgard, Jensen, Mwembo, Tony, and Rea. It's a very good lineup. I think I'd have at least 3 or 4 of their players anyway in our squad.
Yeah.
What concerns you about the Brentford for you?
The front too, the way they play off each other as well. And they're both strong guys.
Yeah.
They're in your face kind of forwards as well. But they're very talented, both of them.
They are
very talented.
Because Aaron Hickey, obviously, we were kind of linked with him as well. I don't know if you watched him in Scotland, but he's a very talented right wing back. Rico Henry, everyone that knows me, I love him. I want him at England.
I've been a big fan of him as well. Big fan of Rico Henry.
Yeah.
I was saying on here last summer.
Yeah.
He was before Zinchenko came in. He was someone that I wanted us to get in. I wanted us to get, him. I think, he's only getting better.
Isn't he? Yeah. Pinnock's been pretty decent this season as well. And Ben Mee is just on a different level at the moment for Brentford. De Silva, obviously, we all know about De Silva. He used to be in our setup. Norgard, decent. Jensen, decent. They're just decent, but it's the way that Thomas Frank sets them up as well. Yeah. That guy doesn't get enough credit for me. I love the guy. I think he's brilliant.
He doesn't.
The way he talks as well, he's just respectful.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to talk about Thomas Frank? Sorry, I'll keep talking.
No, I was just saying about Thomas Frank. I mean, he's the kind of guy that I mean, like you said, the way he sets up the team. You could always see he was from a few seasons ago. You could always see Brentford. He was actually destined for the Premiership, with or without Brentford. You know, he's just that type of manager. And there's a lot of words you could describe as well. But for me, I'd say charismatic. Yeah, definitely. With him, I find that how he sets the teams up. It's just got to a point where you could be home just chilling, and Brentford's playing someone. You're like, oh, I'll watch Brentford because apart from myself, I've enjoyed watching Brentford and Brighton this season, and with what he's done compared to this season, he's made them a better outfit than they were last season, and added, and with me, who has Premier League experience with Burnley, you know, me will be buoyed because he knows what it takes to frustrate us. Just, you know, look at Sean Dyche last week. It was Burnley we played last week, wasn't it? Really, Burnley in disguise. So you know, Chris Ager as well. I mean, I know he comes with experience, Danish international. I know he's getting on a bit, but he did very well for Celtic as well. So, and he can play as a right and back or centre half as well. So they've got players that are very versatile.
Yeah,
Bit of versatility there as well. And from Monique's lineup, looking at that, one player I actually thought she would have picked, but then again, if you're going to play that formation, you can't put Wisser in there as well. And I think he's been brilliant this season.
Yeah, it's actually. Obviously, I have no idea what Brentford, and neither of us do, to be honest, what they're going to go with. This is just Monique's idea, and you know, big up to her for spending the time once again just to choose her selection. But I don't.
Lineup.
Yeah, it's a good lineup. It's a strong lineup. When she told me, it was like, yeah, that's a struggle. I'm not over keen about tomorrow's game. It's Brentford. I know that we beat them handsomely at the Community Stadium, but it's still Brentford. You know, it's a tricky team, and they are 7th. We need to remember that they are 7th in the league, and they're there for a reason.
Exactly.
Bobby Brown, which he did when he's from Birmingham, so I'm just guessing he's just enjoying the West Midlands derby. To be honest, it does get feisty at St Andrews. To be fair, it's probably a lineup. Bobby and me do like Henry. My lineup for the challenge. No, it's all right. I've starred it. Don't worry, Moss. I've starred it. It will come up when I get ready to talk about it. Norgard is smart. Yes, he is. De Silva, finally going to be good. Frank is very smart. But Brenny knows what time it is. Once I find the video, it is time for the challenge. Right, Brenny's done this enough to know exactly how it's played. I don't even need to explain it to Brenny. Brenny will just go straight into it and go, bosh, bash, bosh. It'd be so easy. Right, so what's your first Brentford player, mate?
Got to be Ivan Toney up front.
Okay. Toney. Okay, next one.
It wasn't in Monique's lineup, but he's a player that I like. Who go for Dali Yanel in midfield.
Yeah. Thankfully, I do know how to spell his name. Thankfully. Next one.
Go for certain Mr. Me at the back.
Mr. Me. Okay. We'll put him that side because he is actually that side. Oh, of course he's going to be that, isn't it? Bring me. There we go. Right. Next one, mate.
Go for a Ryan goal.
Say that again. Sorry.
Raya.
Oh, the
In goal?
goalie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, of course it would have to be this. Right. I think his name's David Raya, isn't it?
Raya.
There he is. And your fifth Brentford player, please, mate.
It's going to be. Got to be Norgard in midfield.
Norgard.
Yep.
Okay. Do you want him as a CDM or actual midfield?
He could be. He could be CDM.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Right. So now we get to put the Arsenals in. Right back. Which right back are you going for?
Still going to go for Ben White.
Yep.
So overall, he's been our best right back this season.
Yep. Left back.
Left back, got to be Zinchenko.
Yeah. I've done this so many times, mate, with you. I already know who you're going with. Centre back.
You probably know the centre back then.
Saliba.
Got to be.
Right. Midfielder.
Okay, that's going to be Martin Odegaard.
Okay. Right. Left midfielder.
Left midfielder.
Yeah. Martinelli.
Yeah, Martinelli.
And the right. It's got to be Starboy, I'm guessing.
It's got to be.
Right. So there we go. This is Brenny's challenge. It's David Raya in goal, Ben White right back, Saliba, me, Zinchenko, Norgard, Janout, Odegaard, Saka, Tony, Martinelli. Decent team.
Yeah.
We're after Raya, so we know that he plays the style that we like.
Mm.
Ben, decent season. I do admit that he's got some mistakes in him, but again, I think he'll be fine. Norgard, Janout, you cannot knock those two. They work so hard in midfield for Brentford.
Yeah.
And Tony up front, I think a lot of us would actually have him if he didn't have some other issues going on.
Well, I it's funny you say that because my take on it is that as long as he's able to play, hopefully there's not going to be anything untoward to happen to him. I would take him regardless. I mean, but then again, we've had look at how many times in the past we've had players.
Arsenal are well known for this.
Could you imagine? Tony Adams. We know what happened back in 1991. Paul Merson with his issues, and then what? You can have players saying, "Oh no, I don't want them at the club no more."
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
At the Arsenal,
to a legend.
Yeah, exactly. So anyone in the comments, put your predictions in for the game tomorrow. I'm going to quickly, before I come to Brenny about his prediction, I'm going to go through Moss's challenge scheme because he doesn't like it, but he always does it. So I don't know which way you like to get, Moss, because you always say you hate it, but you always do it. So he's gone for Ramsdale in goal, Henry, great name for a last challenge. Me, Saliba, Tommy, Partey, Norgard, Odegaard, Saka, Memo, Tony. Moss nailed it again. No Brent fans. No, I couldn't find any. I don't know if yours is better though. To be honest, I'm thinking yours is better, Brenny. To be honest, yeah, I like Mwembo, but he does go missing sometimes. I'm always been a fan of Martinelli. No one's going to knock Martinelli out of my favourites. Yes, no, not a bad team. I'd have Henry at our club now. Happily.
Yeah, I would.
I'd have Norgard as well, to be honest. I'd know for that. Memo, not so much. I don't think he would suit us. I've shown it now. What's he moaning about? I've just shown it. Have I not shown it? Oh, there you go. I thought I showed it. I was probably just reading. I apologise, Moss. I thought it was on the screen. I was reading it. So that's Moss's. I'll leave it up there because he's moaned that I haven't showed it. Luke has gone for 2-1. Brenny, what are you going for a prediction tomorrow?
Me, 3-0 tomorrow.
Oh, you're 3-0. Okay.
Yeah, clean sheet.
Well, I'm a 3-1. I do think it's not an easy 3-1. I think it'll still be a struggle. I just think we'll wear him out at the end. I think.
Yeah, I just think we just got to be patient.
Yeah, exactly. Tony's obviously gone for 2-0, as he said in his video earlier. pick up some money. She actually went for 2-2. You can tell that she has a bit of Brentford allegiance there.
Okay.
I like winning the challenge. You have not won the challenge. I'm the referee, and I say Brenny won. So no, you haven't won the challenge. It's down to the ref. Rather have Gabriel over me, but to make a team to win. Is this the way you described to me? Yeah, show it down. 2-1. Oh, he's even gone for the goal scorers. Moss has gone for 2-1 as well. I think it's. We're kind of confident, aren't we? But we know that Brentford can hurt us. And that's the thing. That's the whole point. We talk about Brentford. We need to realise that there is, and that's why I know you hate it, Moss, but this is the reason I do the challenge. So we remember they have got good players.
Yeah.
I think there's only one time this season we haven't. No, there's 2 games. 2 games, isn't it? We did one with FC Zurich. That team wasn't good. We weren't worried about that. And the Oxford game, big up to Oxford. However, I was not going to do the challenge for the Oxford game. That was just being too tricky and a bit. Yeah, it's just But the reason for the challenge is to make sure you think about their players. Like obviously we're doing the City one next week. We've done it a few times recently as well. With the City fan, I'll be doing it on Sunday night. With you guys, I'll be doing it on Monday night because there's nothing happening on Valentine's Day. Because all our partners will hate us if we do any stream on Valentine's Day. So we are not doing one on Valentine's Day, people. Brenny versus the 74s derby. But that is definitely it for now. Brenny, really appreciate you coming on as always. Where can everyone find you, mate?
Yeah, well, you can find me on Twitter. I have been doing a few things on Instagram, so I have been on there as well, and just trying to get a bit more content with regards to that. And of course, you can find me here on the Armoury TV with all the legends on here.
Yes. Yeah, it's just me today. The legends are out doing other stuff Friday nights. You'll find me tomorrow. What am I doing tomorrow? I think I've got 2 shows tomorrow. Yes, I've got 2 shows tomorrow. I've got a watch along, which is on Full Time Sports Network. I'm actually doing something different. Leipzig versus Union Berlin. Bundesliga is hotting up right now. There's a lot of teams still in the chance of winning. I think I'm doing the match review at 8:00, depending on who's available. On Sunday, I'm doing Rangers versus Partick Thistle. If anyone knows me, I'm a Rangers fan, so I'm doing the 5th round Scottish Cup for that. And then at 10:00 at night, yes, 10:00 at night, I am chatting with a Man City fan, a very big one, regarding Wednesday's game. We've organised it because we've both got partners. We don't want to be doing anything on Valentine's, so we thought 10:00 Saturday, Sunday night, just before the Super Bowl. Moss will be doing the Super Bowl, I'm sure about it. But it is Super Bowl. Who's your pick for the Super Bowl this Sunday?
Can you believe I'm not even an American football fan? I'm telling you, I see the guys on the chat, right? And most of the time when I'm seeing those boop, boop, every time my phone's going off, I'm trying to get to sleep. I've got to go work the next day, you know what I mean? So I'm not into American football whatsoever. So
I've got a clue.
Who's in it? I don't even know who's in the final.
Okay, well, I'll say the Chiefs or the Eagles. Which one are you going to go with? The Chiefs or the Eagles?
Chiefs or the Eagles?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'll go with the Eagles.
There you go. So you've chosen one. I'm going with the Eagles myself. Obviously, Brady doesn't know anything about NFL. I don't know much. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan.
I know about things like back in the day, I tried to get into American football, and then I'd play John Madden on the Sega Mega Drive or whatever it was. But I just couldn't get into it. You asked Amon, we just couldn't get into it. Seriously.
I can't get into the actual console games. They're just so tricky on the consoles. It's ridiculous. Moss is doing all sorts of sports, so I will tell him what he's doing. He's hockey, basketball, Goal Rush tomorrow. So if you want to tune into someone actually being able to watch the game tomorrow, Moss can actually watch the game because in the Canada they can watch it. Just the English rules. It's a tough call, Chiefs and Eagles. To be fair, Eagles, the Palace NFL team. I'm going to go with Eagles. Brenny's gone with Eagles. So come on the Eagles for Sunday, but definitely come on the Gunners for tomorrow. Take care, everyone. See you
Good night,
later.
all.